The council's chambers floated in perfect silence, a massive sphere of glass and grav fields, each delegate suspended in the arrogance of their own importance. They had gathered to witness humanity for the first time, expecting a meek display, a primitive people eager to beg for galactic favor. The reports were clear: Earth was disorganized, chaotic, technologically backward, easily dominated. And then the Reez appeared. Not with a parade of drones. Not with polite gestures. Not even a single ambassador. It arrived like a verdict, a leviathan of steel and intent, its hull shimmering with adaptive camo that reflected the cosmos in fractured, ominous patterns. The Titan-class warship didn't orbit. It loomed, a predator in the void, and the Council's collective confidence shattered before it even spoke. A single transmission crackled into their chambers. The tone was calm, deliberate, and undeniably human. "We came to negotiate. You will survive if you surrender." The delegates laughed, or at least they thought they did. Their amusement ended the instant the first pulse of energy struck. It wasn't a warning shot. It wasn't a display of force. It was a declaration: we can destroy you before your ego realizes it. Outer orbital defenses disintegrated in seconds. Ships that had once represented centuries of empire burned and twisted, fragments tumbling into the void like sparks from a dying star. Alarms blared. Delegates screamed. The Grand Arbiter's voice cracked over the comms, demanding explanations, but the human replied only with silence. Inside the Reez, Captain Ilya Varnov leaned back in his chair, fingers steepled, eyes sharp. The corner of his mouth curled into a grin. "Let them panic," he said, voice low and dangerous. "Let them taste fear. Humans thrive in chaos." He didn't need luck. He had precision, ingenuity, and centuries of human unpredictability distilled into this moment. The Council believed themselves untouchable. They were about to learn the terrifying truth: humans never played by the rules, and when cornered, humans played to win. The humans didn't bother with a fleet. They didn't need one. Reez alone was enough to make the Council's prized armada seem fragile, like toys in the hands of a storm. Every alien vessel quivering in orbit realized far too late that one Titan-class warship could rewrite the rules of engagement, and end their reign of arrogance in hours. "Captain Varnov," Lieutenant Armand Koenig said, his voice tight with excitement. "They're trying to negotiate." Ilya's grin was sharp, predatory. "Negotiation ended the moment they assumed we'd play nice. Fire the suppression drones. Let's see how they handle a real human army." Minutes later, the orbital theater became a massacre. Autonomous drones armed with railguns, plasma torpedoes, and AI-guided decoys swarmed the alien fleet like a tidal wave of destruction. Reez moved with uncanny grace, warping through gravitational currents, striking the enemy where they were weakest, vanishing before counterfire could even begin. The Council unleashed everything they had: energy beams capable of vaporizing planets, antimatter torpedoes meant to tear through hulls as thick as moons. Nothing worked. Every maneuver, every attack, was anticipated and countered. Humans adapted in real time, rewrote their weapons' parameters mid-combat, and turned the aliens' own strength against them. Then came the reversal strikes. Alien commanders' horror deepened as beams intended to obliterate the Reez were hijacked mid-flight, recalibrated, and turned inward. Torpedoes exploded inside cruisers. Railgun volleys shredded flagship command decks. The younger delegates trembled, whispering what no one dared say aloud: "They are gods of war." Ilya's calm voice cut over the comms again, carrying that trademark human audacity. "We're not gods. We're humans. And humans never forget a slight." Across the void, the Council began to understand that their assumptions were fatal. They had underestimated Earth, underestimated humanity's hunger, its precision, and its appetite for revenge. And in this battle, the humans weren't just fighting for survival, they were rewriting the galaxy's definition of terror. The battle stretched across the void, hours condensed into moments of terror. From the outside, it looked like chaos. From within Reez, it was choreography perfected by human instinct and ingenuity. Entire alien squadrons vanished in flashes of light. tactical zones, once meticulously controlled by Council strategists, became death traps of their own making. And through it all, Reez moved like a ghost, untouchable, unpredictable. Finally, desperation took form. The Grand Arbiter appeared in a holographic projection aboard the Reez, trembling but attempting dignity. You are not what your records describe," he stammered. "We offer surrender." "Cease this." Ilya leaned forward, eyes cold and unflinching. "Records are written by those who survive to write them. You assumed we'd be meek. You assumed your numbers, your technology, your arrogance could intimidate us. Twice. First, when you ignored our potential. Second, when you assumed we could be bullied." The Arbiter's pulse spiked, but Ilya cut him off. "Do you understand now? Humans do not negotiate when threatened. Humans do not falter when cornered. Humans retaliate." Then came the maneuver no alien mind had predicted. The Reez slipped through the fleet's defensive perimeter with surgical precision, delivering a concentrated plasma strike that vaporized the Council's central station. Communications went silent. One by one, alien vessels' engines flared out, life support failed, command systems shut down, and their once perfect formations collapsed into chaos. From the void, Ilya's voice echoed cold and unmistakable. "Humans are patient. Humans are clever. Humans do not forget." For the first time, the Council understood. This was not luck. This was not an accident. This was humanity, terrifying, brilliant, and unstoppable, finally unleashed. Weeks passed, but the echoes of the battle reverberated across the stars. Humanity's signals reached distant civilizations, a chilling combination of warning and triumph, one Titan-class warship, unmoved by fear, unstoppable when cornered. Stories spread like wildfire, tales of Reez, of Captain Varnov, of humans who fought with storm-born cunning and laughed while doing it. The galaxy's elite, once confident in their supremacy, whispered in fear. Earth, the so-called backward world, had proven itself not just clever, but dangerous beyond comprehension. Entire fleets recalculated the cost of underestimating humans. They feared the ingenuity, the audacity, the unyielding resolve that had just annihilated the Council. On board Reez, Captain Ilya Varnov stood on the observation deck, staring at the wreckage floating silently in orbit. The silence of the void pressed against him, heavy and satisfying. Lieutenant Koenig approached cautiously. "Captain, they'll retaliate. Others will come. They won't forgive this." Ilya didn't turn. "Let them come. They will learn, as the Council did, that humans are inconvenient, dangerous, necessary." He paused, voice softening, almost reflective. "And sometimes, justice tastes better when it's served cold." Below, the void remained empty. Above, humanity's ambassadors of war hovered, untouchable and unbroken. Somewhere, in the uncharted edges of space, alien fleets trembled at the mere mention of the Titan-class Reez. Humans had arrived not as diplomats, not as conquerors, but as the reckoning no one anticipated. The galaxy had been warned. The Council had been crushed. And Earth had claimed its place among the stars, not quietly, not politely, but with fire, precision, and the unapologetic brilliance of human audacity. The name Reez became legend, whispered in fear, studied in terror, and remembered for the day the galaxy learned that humans were nothing to underestimate.